Heal, I'll say. Whatever. Wait, did that even use the item? Bruh, I found a bug! So, you want to know how to no-hit the Titan in Deltarune? Well, I can teach you how. But first of all, there's a world of difference between using tension items and not using tension items to do this fight. Without tension items, this is incredibly hard to no-hit. Well, at least you don't have the Black Shard anyway, but I'm going to be using Chapter 2 plus 3 equipment without Black Shard. So, yeah, results may vary depending on what equipment you have. I'm terribly sorry about that, but anyway, I'm going to do my best to explain how to no-hit this without using tension items, because it's pretty easy to do so if you do have the tension items. So, with that out of the way, let's begin. First of all, you're going to need the same equipment that I introduced for my Roaring Knight cover. It is important that you get the highest damage output you can, because you're going to have to end this fight as soon as possible, because later on in the fight it gets way too hectic to cover any strategies for. So, yeah, here we go. Right, now let's talk strategy. One thing you can do, well, to be honest, there's only really one thing you can do with the Titan, and that's to beat it to death. But once you get the Titan below 50% HP, the fight is basically over, so doing as much damage as possible is a necessity. Now, you can use tension items here if you want to, and that makes the fight drastically easier, but I'm going to show you what happens if you don't use them. So on the first turn, all you can really do is attack, because you can't really use any axe apart from check. For the first attack, sort of like alternate between edges, use X if you have to. You can get really close to these things, but I don't recommend it. I'm just doing it because I don't really know the best way to handle that. But anything that works for you, it will work for anyone. So anyway, let's use Brighton now, because the snake attack is coming up, and I'm going to show you how I know that, besides knowing the turn order, of course. So for the snakes, you just want to stay around the head of the snake to kill it as quickly as possible. Right, so if you pay attention to the status messages, you'll be able to tell what attack is coming up next. So from this, I know it's going to be the hand attack. So I'm going to use Brighton here. And use the top two fingers first. And then do the bottom two last. Now, it is important that you gather as much treasure as possible, because that's the only way you can get TP in this fight. There's no grazing. You get a tiny amount from attacking and defending, but that's not really that much. So, anyway, now that you have more than 80%, you can use Unleash and attack with the other two. You do massive damage when that shield is off. Now, for this attack, go down to where the most Titans are when the spitball starts. Whoa! Okay. I did not mean to do it like that. Do not try and do that, please. And of course, attack again. What works best for me, though, is staying slightly to the right and alternating up and down from when the edge of the light zone hits the green on the bullet box. You can move left and right if you have to. Which is why I suggest it's important you stay to the right, because if the Titan shoots a spitball at you, it's not an easy pill to swallow. Right, now we're going to continue using Brighton because we have the snakes coming up next. It will always be this attack after the first Unleash phase. I think so anyway, at least from what I've tested. So just finish them as quickly as possible. Whoa, cut it really close there. And then just continue doing Brighton throughout the remainder of the fight. Now, for every time you cycle through these attacks, they're going to get a lot harder. See, like right here, I'm trying my best to avoid absolutely everything here, because there's nowhere that's safe in this version of the attack, where there's loads of reds and bigger black things. So now we come to the hands again. This time we cannot destroy the entire hand, but we can make a very good effort to get as much treasure as possible. And there we go, we already have enough for the next unleash. So if you're not very good at gathering the treasure, then keep practicing, you'll eventually get it. And by this point, you should have enough damage to end the fight. But if you can't, I will show you phase 3. I'm just going to defend here to show phase 3. So yeah, just follow the same strategy as you did before. It's a little bit easier this time. Ouch. I say that as I get hit. It's a little bit easier. Shut up, Lottie. Okay, right. So for the third phase, just continue using Brighton. This time you have 3 snakes, but it's actually easier this time, despite there being more snakes than before, as long as you follow the same strategy. So circle around on the snakes. Go closest to the head if you can. And continue to use Brighton. And now there's no reds, but there's a lot of swarm. So if you get cornered, it's basically over. And now you can use Unleash again, which is very, very important. Because now we're going to go into the third wave of the Titan attacks. So here you want to alternate back and forth, go up and down, and then prepare for the giant beam, go down or all the way up. And there you go. Now, the attack will be pretty much the same. So triple spitball. Except this time you'll have a little bit less time to react. And of course, the mouth will always remain open, so you can do this for as long as you want. I think this is really good practice for the spitball attack. Either that, or you can do this in the aftermath of the fight with Gerson. It really doesn't matter at this point. Another important thing to note is that when the Titan spitball hits the Titan spawn, you will not get treasure from them. But you probably knew this already. I don't know if anyone's done this, but I'm going to do it for Aura. 7,000 damage! I have never seen that much damage done to the Titan. Wow, that's like half its HP gone. Except it's going to regenerate. Did you imagine that if there was like a little Easter egg here? Yeah, 25%. Now, of course, when you get here, nothing really matters. You can do fight, you can do act, whatever. Anything progresses this bit. So I'm just going to defend all the time and skip through the dialogue. But yeah, once you get to this point, the fight is basically over. You can celebrate, you can do whatever you want. But there's one important thing to note. You can still get hit here in the Gerson part of the fight. But generally, you won't worry about that too much unless you go out of your way to do it or you miss menu accidentally. So, Dual Buster twice. If you don't do Dual Buster, you'll get another attack, which is a lot harder to avoid. And then you do Susie's idea, and at this point, it doesn't really matter where you aim. Look, I'm aiming above the Titan's head, but it still counts. And that's how to, well, try to no-hit the Titan. I highly advise using tension items, though, because you can use Unleash a lot sooner, and you only have to do, like, 2 attacks. But, yeah. That's all I have to say on that matter. Now we're going to take a look at what it will look like in a single run. Finally, man. This took a lot longer than it should have. Oh, man. Cheat death all the way again. Yes! I died in the Gerson part! Okay. So I hope you guys found this video informative, and I hope to see you in the next one, whatever that may be. So, bye guys.